It's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. So we pop on and do a small bit of a post-Celtic reaction, even though normally do these right in the final whistle. The euphoria, the amazing atmosphere, I suppose really the emotion and everything that came with last night's game. Myself and the fact that Paddy was at one end of the stadium, I was at the other end of the stadium, and we didn't get to meet up together again till closer to 11 o'clock, meant that we weren't going to pop on and do a post match. But Paddy's going to be joining us in a moment, as soon as he is back, because we've still been traveling, we're only just really getting back after the day yesterday and getting back home now, and have a quick turnaround. I have to wash all my clothes. I have to get ready for my stag tomorrow. So wanted to jump on and do a little post-match pod. And as I say, Paddy will jump on in a moment and we'll discuss more about the game. But before I do that, I just want to say, really touched, really, really thankful for everybody that came up and said some really nice words yesterday. Sometimes you sit here and we do the podcast and the reach of the podcast is, I'm not going to say it's lost on myself and Paddy, but it's always really touching and really appreciated when people tell us, that we're doing a good job, or that we're, that they listen to us all the time. And just a couple of people that we jumped on, we met was like the people who were here, and Bolg. We met Bolg, who's always in the chat here. We met Micah Richards, whose name isn't obviously Micah Richards, but we met him. We met Frankie Maguire from the Villanova filler, and we met Carly. We met Elliot. Gave them a shout out on the tantrum. We met Connor Sherry. Jesus, we met so many people. I'm forgetting 90% of them. Bill, who I was talking to until the early hours of this morning in the Aston social. Christ, there was so many people. Fikra was sitting beside me on the plane home. Mel and Michael, who we met, who were on the plane as well. There's just so many people, and I just want to say thanks so much for coming up and making our day yesterday. Paddy, it was just so beautiful. We got to see Josh Norris, met Mark Oldacres as well. There was so many. Michael Huggins gave me a yard of chocolate, Paddy. I've already tucked into a good bit of it already since I came home. It's like a slab of chocolate. You could put a patio out the back of my garden. There was so much chocolate in there. So just really thankful for everybody who came up and said some nice words, and I really appreciate everybody making our night so good, because everybody was great crack, had great sing songs, had great conversations and chats, and thanks a million to everybody. I was getting all soppy to start, Paddy, before we get into talking about the game. Yeah, I was getting all soppy. I was getting a bit emotional and a bit moved there at how nice everybody was.
It was class. It really was. To get so many people coming in just to say hello, even who wouldn't normally be there. So thanks to everybody that came and said hello. Absolutely amazing day. Made all more special by the great people you share it with. So I think everybody's voice who was on this few days is gone. I just see Mark in the comments there says Emma's voice is gone.
Yes. I met Dale as well. AFC Stato was there too. We had Mark and Emma. Jesus, it was like it was amazing. It was amazing to meet so many people. And
where did you meet Dale?
I met Dale. I met Dale in the concourse at halftime, and I think I met him before the game as well. Yeah, it was great. And there's some people actually didn't like it. Do you know what was funny, Paddy? The effort that people went to get to the game was it blew me away. Like the amount of people that went on to book flights that were like £400 or £500 and then got creative. And from Ireland, some of these guys drove down to Cork, got a flight from Cork to Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam to Birmingham, and it was cheaper to do that. But then came a cropper this morning when the flight to Amsterdam was bloody cancelled, and then another one of our good mates, Kevin Hunter from the Northern America Lions Club, his flight was cancelled. He missed his connecting flight. I hope he got home okay. But Yeah, it was people
He
came
didn't.
by boat.
He's still sitting in an airport hotel
Oh
in Birmingham
no,
before he
shit, boy.
flies back tomorrow.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
he sent me a photo of his lonely there earlier on. So the lengths people go to get to Aston Villa is
Yeah.
incredible. As you
Yeah.
said, Josh Norris obviously came from North Carolina. We met Rick from Californian Lines.
California. Yeah.
The list goes on and on. You know,
We met Stam True Adventures. Does the Villa song. Yeah, great man. I've great chat with him. Yeah, I met a fella as well. I didn't get his name. If you're watching the podcast, I had a really good chat with you. You used to be a former academy physio, and we spoke at length about some things. Give me a DM or send an email to fortheloveofpomegranate@gmail.com. I think I told you to do that last night because we were having great chats, and I'd love to chat to you again about one or two things we spoke about because it was really interesting. This feels like there he is, Joe. Myself and Joe were up until nearly 3:00 this morning in the afternoon. Yeah. So good fun.
Yeah,
fun.
for once I was glad I didn't stay in the Aston Inn because I actually went to bed at a reasonable hour and had a good night's sleep, even though I am absolutely wrecked now. And then gotta get back at it tomorrow. But sure, there you go. We'll survive. A big shout out to our good friends Noel and Caroline who are tying the knot tomorrow.
Tying the knot tomorrow, yeah. And unfortunately I can't go. I'd love to be there, Jesus. But yeah. Hope you guys have a great day. For sure.
Yeah.
I'll be sending a drunken video to you guys at some stage tomorrow night after you tie the knot.
We'll be sending you loads of drunken videos.
Exactly. Paddy, what you make of the match?
The match nearly killed me the first half for 7 or 8, maybe a bit longer than 7 or 8 minutes, but it started off brilliantly. 2 sloppy goals we gave away, and then I was back to the anger that I had last Wednesday after Monaco, I'm afraid. And I think Monaco is the one that irks me a little bit because I would have enjoyed yesterday a little bit more if we'd have just gone and beat Monaco, which we should have done. And it's annoyed me since last Wednesday. But look, we got the job done. That was the most important thing. I keep talking about winning ugly. Scoring 4 goals is obviously a bonus. Probably could have been 5 if it wasn't for a scary penalty miss. But here we are. Here we are in the top 8. Thanks to others doing us a couple of favors. Yeah, and you were there with your half and half scarf, and it's
yeah. I forgot. I meant to wear it at the start to make a point of face about it, but the only time I think I'll ever get a half and half scarf outside of an Ireland and no, it isn't an Ireland and Germany one. It's just an Ireland. I always thought that was Ireland and Germany half and half.
I have a bag of half and half scarves to be distributed all around Ireland tomorrow in the post office.
Oh, Kylie! I think Kylie, I remember you as well. Yourself and Craig met you guys in the Aston as well. Came over from Holland. Came over from the Netherlands. Yeah,
yes.
Excellent. I knew there was somebody that I was forgetting as well. Yeah.
We did. They were out the back with Frankie Maguire, weren't they?
Frankie and Sam. Yeah. Absolutely.
I weirdly took a picture of Kylie's Claret and Boone nails.
I was gone at that
stage. I found on my phone this morning. So I do that from time to time when people have claret and blue nails to show my daughter that if she wants to paint her nails, she should paint them claret and blue and nothing else.
Okay. All ahead of me, I suppose. All ahead of me. On the game, I was just I suppose like I'm an emotional type of guy in situations like that. I don't tend to get very nervous during matches. And even when we got to 2-2, I was a bit angry. I was a bit angry, but I wasn't nervous. I actually always thought Villa were going to pull it out of the fire. And I'm a bit sadistic in a way whereby I liked the jeopardy of going to 2. Now, after the game, I was thinking back how I was feeling in the stadium when I was there. There was a bit of me that liked the jeopardy of going down to 2-2 because when you're 2-0 up after 5 minutes, it's brilliant. Like, you're elated and you're going, oh my God, this is incredible. You know, and a night we need to do it, we're putting in a performance. And then we go to sleep for 8 minutes and we can see 4 minutes or whatever it was, and we can see 2 goals. But then we come back, and as you said, the penalty miss and all that. So I think, you know, it did bring a sense of euphoria. You know, if we got to win that game, But I wouldn't have been complaining if we'd gone and won that game 5-6-0, like we probably should have with some of the chances that we had. I wouldn't have been complaining about that. But sometimes what's difficult is it tastes a small bit sweeter as well. And the fact that we were there and we were able to get the job done, I liked. And look, realistically, I wouldn't have liked to concede those 2 goals. But as I said, the sadist in me didn't mind when we got the result. The fact that I liked that tiny bit of jeopardy in the fact that Villa showed character to come back, because we've given out about Villa's character before. Well, I have given out about Villa's character in games this season where they just haven't been able to put it in a second gear or third gear, and they did that. After half time, I thought they did that, and and we're here now talking about it with smiley faces, so that's always good.
There's no question that Matty Cash going off did disjoint things and again having to disrupt the back four and the middle of midfield. So it's hard to know what would have happened if he'd have stayed on. But we certainly didn't look ourselves.
He was playing really well too. Like he was playing really well going forward. Like he was. It's funny when you're watching in the flesh or whatever. His stride was amazing last night. Like he was well able to get up and down that wing. He didn't look like he was labouring at all, and he looked a threat because Greg Taylor was on his heels for the whole lot of that first half because of Matty Cash. It wasn't because of Leon Bailey. It was because of Matty Cash. And then when he went off, I was very, very sad to see that. And I thought, look, and it's okay to say this because I think, look, like the occasion kind of got the better of me at times with emotion and hearing the Champions League music, and I got a small little bit dewy-eyed, for all that it means to me to be there and how lucky and I felt to be there at that moment in time. I think when John McGinn came on for the first 8 or 9 minutes or 10 minutes after he came on, I thought he was I thought he was everywhere he shouldn't have been. For the first goal, I thought he was a contributor for it. But then he showed the character of a seasoned, an elder statesman within the team and a captain. And in the second half, then I thought he was absolutely excellent. I thought he was brilliant in the second half. Then he was one of the reasons that we drove on. But you're right, that Cash change, Bogart having gone to right back. Thought he was playing well in the middle of midfield. Also thought he played pretty okay at right back. Guy still learning his trade. But Matty Cash was a big detraction for me to see him go off, because I was disappointed for him as well, because he's been playing really, really well since he came back from his last injury. But this is another one now. It'll be interesting to see how long he's going to be out for.
Yeah, there's a lot of things at play over the next couple of weeks. It's kind of worrying that we're picking up so many injuries, and obviously I'm sure we'll get to it in a while, but there's someone on their way out as well by the looks of it. So I actually remembered when we were on the plane coming home today about your Christmas wish on our Christmas podcast that we don't pick up injuries or long-term injuries. There's a couple of them there now that are going to hurt us. So it's going to be a little bit. Well, I'm sure he didn't want to have his new right back in as soon as this weekend, but he could potentially make his debut at Molyneux on Saturday. So Garcia, I would imagine, will be in there. And then what does he do at centre half? He's not going to sign somebody by 12 o'clock tomorrow, I'd imagine, unless Desazi is a bit closer than we thought. And then again, is he able to come straight back in there? Just on a side note, I thought Kamara was absolutely excellent at centre half.
Yeah. Excellent.
As I said before the match in our preview before we left, I want him in midfield. I want him doing that job in midfield. I don't want him to be at centre half because he's such a good player in midfield and we need him there.
It is, I think, yeah, but like I think I'd be okay with him starting at left-sided centre back and what you call him, and Bogart starting, or maybe even John McGinn starting that 6-hole just for the game at the weekend. But I'm like you as well. Like it was like himself and Tielemans are just thoroughbreds. They're thoroughbreds when you watch the two of them play on the field. Like the way that Tielemans pivots, and you see it in real life, and you just see his head scan all around the place and see what he's looking at and see where he's going to. Incredible to watch. Brilliant. With Boubacar Kamara, just the industry he has. He's another fella that is impressive when you see him stride, how long his stride is, how good he is, how fast he's able to get up to top speed, and then how very composed he is in the ball as well. It's different level when you're watching it in the stadium. and I thought he was excellent. I thought Dini was absolutely brilliant as well for much of the game, specifically going forward. But man, we haven't even spoken about the man who scored a hat trick, Paddy. And Morgan Rogers picked that ball up in midfield like he was doing at the start of the year, and he was driving at at Celtic, and Celtic had something like I don't know what the exact numbers were, but a couple of people said the ref was excellent. I thought the ref was a good ref, but I think they had like 16 or 17 fouls and there was no yellow card given. That would be my only kind of criticism. And I thought maybe a couple of their midfielders, they racked up a couple in quick succession. But look, what's done is done now. It had no effect in the game. But I think they had to do that. They had to bring Morgan Rogers down before he got into full flight, because he was just so good at carrying the ball. And himself and JJ were so good at carrying the ball forward in that game last night. That's why I always felt when we went to 2-2 that we had enough horses up top to be able to pull it out of the fire, and we absolutely did. And I thought those two guys and Watkins, for their play around all around the field, and how their overall play was just, I thought, was outstanding. And we'll get onto the fact that Watkins missed a penalty and all that later, but thought they were absolutely excellent and really stood up in a big night. Really stood up in a big night. Actually, Paddy, before we get into that, someone asked, did a little bit of us cheer when Celtic scored? Absolutely not even a little bit. We'll get onto that in a moment, because there was a lot of Celtic fans in around the ground and stuff. We'll talk about that in a moment. But getting back to the goals, Paddy, what was your view of them from the whole? Like, the first two goals were gone in after 5 minutes, and they were right in front of us, and we had a great view of them. But I was flabbergasted at how quick and how paceful and how powerful we were able to attack them in those first couple of minutes, and we didn't look like we were taking any prisoners at that stage.
No, and I think it took us about a minute and a half to get on the ball with the way the game transpired, and then when we did get on the ball, we were just stroking the ball around like it was men versus boys, and it was for those up until, I suppose, Matty Cash went off. What was that, about a half an hour in? I just thought we were totally in control, and then that happened, and it just left us a little bit disjointed again. You could feel the tension rising in the stadium as well. But two excellent goals early on. Absolutely delighted for Morgan Rogers. He, like, you look back to, I presume his anniversary of joining the club has just passed. So in 12 months, he's gone from the Championship, playing with Middlesbrough, and is now scoring hat-tricks in the Champions League. And look, for a local boy, it's great to have locals in there that understand the club. Whether he grew up supporting the club, we don't know for sure. We know his father did, all right, but it's amazing. It's an amazing story. And look, the whole thing is an amazing story, and we should always, when we have amazing nights like that, say thank you to the owners to get us to this position from where we were 6 years ago in the absolute depths of depression after losing that playoff final to Fulham, and they've just brought us to a whole new level. And look, for me to be getting annoyed at a performance that eventually got us into 8th place in the Champions League, and getting annoyed over the performance last week, sometimes you just forget, and you forget how absolutely turgid it was. And here we are complaining about a performance.
How turgid it was 10 years ago or 6 years ago, not last night.
6 or 7 years ago. It's just incredible that here we are, all these years later, getting annoyed at a performance which we really shouldn't. So I'm just having that little pinch moment just to remind me that when I give out about certain things, that you've got to keep a little bit grounded and remember what the bad times were like. Because this ride this year of all those Champions League games, and I will never ever get tired of listening to that Champions League music. It's the most incredible feeling, and I'm glad you got to one of them to see it in the flesh, because we don't know what we have until it's gone. We don't know if we're going to see this again for another few years. Hopefully, that's not the case, but it is an absolute. And we're meeting people yesterday who were in Villa Park for the first time, and you're just like, oh my God, you didn't go through all the heartache I did for all these years to rock up and go to one of the biggest games in the club's history. It's just incredible. And I I was genuinely upset and worried at halftime about how we had thrown away that 2-goal lead to let's face it, a makeshift enough Celtic team and a very poor striker getting in and scoring 2 goals. I don't mean a very poor striker, but he just hasn't kicked on in his career. And to see him score 2 goals and Nice lie front of the whole end was just heartbreaking. It was a tough one to take, and I actually was fuming at halftime out in the concourse talking to people. But look, we got through it. We got the goals.
I might have in the concourse. I might have made a sweeping statement about a player or two, which isn't like me. But I did. I might have gone full paddy on a player in the concourse. That was to a Celtic fan that I just happened to bump into. A really nice guy. He was Irish. He was a really good guy. We were chatting about it. And he was like saying, "Oh, geez, we're back in this, and we shouldn't be because you guys were all over us, and they got their 2 goals." And he was kind of agreeing with me, saying that like, what a 5 or 6 minute kind of concentration blip that Villa had, and he felt that Celtic shouldn't really have been in the game at that stage. So, but yeah, it was interesting. But you're right, Paddy. That you don't know what you got till it's gone. That Champions League it was brilliant. Like last night would be a moment that I will never forget, and that's being real, and. It's it wasn't even about Celtic, but it was just about there's almost like a life, as you said there. There's a lifelong journey that a lot of Villa fans have gone on, and it's beautiful the fact that we've not become a team like a supporter base, and long may it continue that we never become the supporter base who deride success or many kind of goal items that happen within this team's kind of trajectory or journey. And you should never belittle that stuff. You really shouldn't. And even being like the top 8 performing teams in the Champions League so far this year is a massive milestone. And the club should start now acting like that. And I think over the next few days there'll be some signings come in. We've obviously Duran is gone. And you talked about centre half and a striker and an attacker coming in. I think that will happen, and that fresh blood or that impetus hopefully will invigorate us as we go through. And anything down to 7th could be a Champions League place. It's very unlikely, but there is a possibility that if a English team wins the UEFA League, and then the Europa League, should I say, and then a team wins the Champions League, and then the coefficient. There's all these different permutations that could go. They could see more Champions League spots added. So the club now has a month, essentially, a full month to go away and concentrate on the league and the FA Cup during that, without having to worry about European football. And we all get to find out who we play tomorrow, or the 2 potential suitors that we will play tomorrow in the Champions League round of 16. And who would have said that 3 years ago before Mr. Emery or 2 years ago before Mr. Emery came in the door? Nobody. So, very positive, very appreciative. Feeling very appreciative at the moment.
Just wanted this narrative that keeps coming up that I hope Villa fans get banned for selling tickets to Celtic fans. The club sold tickets to Celtic fans.
Yes.
People need to understand that if you buy a GA plus hospitality, you're in with normal fans. You're not. It's not sitting in a corporate box or sitting in the director's box. You're sitting in with normal fans, and that's where most of these people got tickets from, not from Villa fans.
Yep.
It's Champions Travel in Ireland. I don't really want to name them.
Sorry, but yeah.
You can go and buy a corporate ticket from these people with no fan ID. So when people are pointing fingers at Villa fans for selling these, it's not the case. It's absolutely not the case. So much so that this company were put under savage pressure with what people were saying, and had to go and ring everybody and get their Irish postcode to make sure they were actually an Irish resident before they posted the tickets, because they weren't allowed to sell tickets to Scottish people. But sure, there's so many Celtic fans in Ireland. That's where all the tickets were going.
And this is another one, Paddy. Like, I was going over in the plane, I sat beside 2 absolute gentlemen, 2 really good guys, and I made the joke. I goes, I bet you're in the home end, and they said, we are actually, and we don't want to be. We want to be in the away end. And I said, why? And the two guys were one of the guys I think was related to Liam Scales, who played centre half for Celtic, and they got their 2 tickets from Scales, from Liam Scales, so they were in hospitality with all the Celtic fans. So if every Celtic player was given, I can't remember what he said, he told me, but I can't remember what it was. Let's say they were given 5 tickets each, every Celtic player, and then that's 100 odd tickets, and that's 100 odd Celtic people who are in hospitality, but then have to go out into a normal seat beside and that's fine. I don't have a problem with it, but like, there was a multitude of Celtic fans in around like there was a Celtic old boy, must have been in his 60s, as Scottish a head in him as you will ever come across. And he was the nicest boy. He was annoying because he was pissed, but he was like, he without sin throw the first stone, like, but he was lovely. He sat down, he actually had no ticket, got into the ground with no ticket. Should I have gone up to the stewards and got him ejected? Probably should have. The man had seen Celtic away. He'd never missed a Celtic away game for 40 years, he told me. Whether that was true or not, I didn't care, because he was a nice guy. He sat down I was on the last seat of the aisle, sat down on the step beside me, and he didn't cheer for any goal. He thought the atmosphere was amazing. He was incredibly complimentary of Aston Villa fans. Now, there were other Celtic fans in the stadium that weren't, and they were fired out, and there was tiny bits of trouble around the ground. But my Celtic fan that sat beside me was lovely. He was a gentleman. He was drunk. He was having a bit of crack, but there was nothing out of order. There was absolutely nothing out of order of him. Should he have been thrown out? Absolutely, he should have. But I was appreciative of how appreciative he was about Aston Villa, how he spoke so well about the stadium and all that, and how he actually cheered our goals and didn't get up and jump around or anything. He didn't actually make any move for their goals because he knew to respect the decorum and that was going on there because of what I suppose what they were obviously warned of and told of, that they shouldn't have been in there. But it wasn't the same way all the way around the ground. No, there was a couple of skirmishes on top of the Doug Ellis. There was one fella actually thrown out from in around us on the opportunity, and then there's some people then saw videos of people scrapping in the Holt as well. But I think all in all, it went off without
there's going to be a lot of video evidence used there, and there's going to be a good few Villa fans in trouble for their reaction too. So, it's not ideal situation to put those people in. But as Michael Huggins asked a question here, how many Villa fans have travelled the European adventure and sat in a seat they should not have? There's lots of them. There's people here in the comments, because I know them and I've seen them, that have done exactly that. I tried to do it for Leipzig without any success, and then saw all those empty seats in Leipzig on the telly, and I was bloody fuming.
Those Villa fans did it in Monaco. They were telling us
Villa fans did it in Monaco. They did it in
Leipzig.
They did it everywhere. They did it everywhere they could. So we didn't hear of it. We heard a little bit of a trouble in Bruges for those who were in home tickets, but I didn't hear it anywhere else. We just need to be mindful that every club does it, and I've often been in Villa Park when Man United scored or Liverpool scored, and someone around me jumps up, and we do nothing about it. So, like, what's it going to be? Do we tell the club not to sell those GA Plus tickets to anyone without a fan ID or a booking history? They would have sold the ticket anyway.
I don't have any problem with it, because like if you want to fill the stadium, I think if you should fill look, we won't get into it because I know I won't be able to articulate. I'm really tired. I've got a stuffed nose. I'm using this bloody nasal inhaler. Won't be able to articulate my point correctly, and I'll have people coming at me in the comments saying, "Easy for you to say, you're not there every week," and I don't want that to happen. So I'll bow out of this of my solution to this, for this conundrum for the moment. I think I will. Paddy, do you know what really struck me about this team last night as well? And do you know, like, at the end, like, there is a togetherness in this team that we kind of sometimes forget about, or that we almost maybe take for granted. At the end, I love to see the team, the backroom team, and even the unused subs and people who were in the matchday squad that weren't actually tagged out. They were in the tracksuits, and we're all huddled around watching the results on a phone. And it seemed so very easy for them to all say, right, let's get down the tunnel, and we have a television or somewhere inside in the dressing room, we'll be able to watch it inside there. But they wanted to savor it on the field. And there's something very kind of, we would all do, like, if your Sunday league team had an opportunity, they'd all want to stay together out in the field and not go in and get tagged off and do it there and then. And I think there's a very kind of family orientated, colloquial, back to back to basics kind of feel about that. And I fucking loved it. I loved to see it. They knew they were probably going to get the result. They knew the results, but they still were like, you often see non-league teams at FA Cup games waiting by the TV, waiting to see who they've drawn, and then they go nuts. And there was that lovely feel of collective, I think, in that when they were all huddled on the field last night. And that's what this team needs at the moment. Lots of injuries, lots of doubt, players looking to one player looking to leave, well, two if you include Carlos recently. The team needs to stick together, and they very much showed that last night with the great character on the field, and then afterwards when they all got around into that huddle and watched on whoever's phone it was. And that was all led by people who, like, it was led by Morgan Rogers and JJ were the two people, and they're the leaders that stood up last night and were counted on the field. And then they actually brought everybody together then and made them watch the results afterwards. I liked that. I really liked it. I thought it was very much kind of a growth moment for the team in a competition that they've grown through as well over the course of this season. So well done to everybody. I like to see it.
Yeah, and it was a strange situation because somebody said to me today, did you keep looking at your phone and refreshing the table? I looked at the table at half time and saw us down in 12th or 13th or whatever it was, and I was fuming. Absolutely fuming. And again, going back to last week, that was the reason why I was fuming. And I'd honestly kind of forgotten about it, and I just watched the match until the 90th minute. And then my son said to me, how are the other results going? And next thing, there was a big cheer and everyone was celebrating. So he knew then. Not that you could have got phone coverage in Villa Park.
I had perfect phone coverage. I don't know what it was. I could have watched the game on my Sky Go app. No bother. I don't know what happened. I was just like, it was like some sort of tractor beam of fucking coverage I had whatever part of the stadium I was. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. But it was lovely to see the players' reaction then as the news came in. And look, it's just magic. And still a pinch me moment that we're even talking about this at this stage. And let's enjoy it. And I think from now on in, it's a question of enjoying it. We've got to the top 8, so we should get somewhat of a favourable draw. I got a good laugh out of that post that was going around today, that listing the 4 teams that we might have to play if Tyrone Mings didn't pick up the ball in Bruges.
Yeah, that was
that's one of the funniest things I've seen online, to be honest.
For anyone who didn't see it, if Tyrone Mings didn't pick up that ball, we would have had to play. We would have been playing either was it Liverpool, Real Madrid, Man City, or Bayern Munich. They would have been the 4 teams that we could have played. Yeah. Whereas now it's Sporting, Dortmund, Atalanta, and I can't remember the last team. Can't remember who it is. Someone will put it in the comments there for me. But yeah, we got Club Brugge. Is who the last team was. So yeah, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. That's what I'm going to say on that one. And the Juventus disallowed goal as well. Yeah. But I suppose the bad news is if we do win the round of 16, we have either Liverpool or Barcelona, provided they would beat the teams that they're supposed to play as well. So it doesn't get any easier from here on in. But fucking bring them on. Given.
And look, to be at this stage is a bonus. It's something like 11 million we get for getting to this stage without playing a match is fantastic in just prize money alone, let alone the whatever the TV money is dished out at the end. So we're in a really good place. It's fantastic to be there, and just got to go and enjoy it.
Yeah, I think so for sure. So look, we've kind of strayed away from transfers, and that's kind of on purpose. I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'm going to talk about the transfers myself. 2 reasons. I have a lot to say. I want to formulate my conversation points properly, and I don't want to have them half cooked because, as I say, it's been a long day tonight. Like, I left. For those of you who are only watching, I didn't get any sleep on Tuesday night and travelled straight through the night to get to Birmingham. And the first time I got sleep was what time I wasn't even going to. And thank you very much to Jamie Toohey, who he basically just out of nowhere said, I've got a spare bed in my room. Do you want to try yourself down? So I got an hour and a half sleep there, and then we were up and at it. That was at 8:30 on Wednesday morning. I hadn't slept at all at that stage. So we're up and at it then at 11:30, and we attack the day like we normally do. Paddy, thanks to Emma and Mark for my lovely cheese and onion and potato pie, and a couple of pints of caroling, and out to the Aston Inn, and then paced myself during the course of the day. I think we both did, because the game meant so much to me. I didn't want to be watching through beer goggles either.
Yeah, I just listened back to the team sheet tantrum while I was driving home. I didn't fucking pace myself at all, did I?
Well, look, I wasn't going to talk for you, Paddy. I wasn't going to speak for you, but no, it was a great day, and I just want to say thank you so much, Taps. And I know I've missed a ton of people that chatted to me, and they came up to say hello and say thank you. So I really appreciate every single person who said. And you know what? I love talking to people about Aston Villa. I love just talking to people in general. So thanks a million. Means a lot. Really, really does.
You just love to talk in general, Neil, don't you?
I love to talk. I love to talk. Yeah, I love
well, how about you talk about this? I want to ask you, what did you think of our tifo before the match?
Oh, knew I forgot to talk about it. And I still need to buy one of those t-shirts. That Ozzy Osbourne tifo, the whole footballing world is talking about it. They thought it was class. And there's a couple of things Villa have got really, 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 really right this year. The 150 shirt, I wore it last night. Actually, I got my 5 printed on it, and I got my FA Cup badge printed on it. So thanks to the lady in the club shop who did that, even though I bought it in JD Sports. Really appreciate that one. But I think that tifo was absolutely amazing. I thought it was brilliant. It was unexpected. And it was funny because we actually, in the Aston, when we went into the Aston Inn, the fella who was down from, I think, where did I come from? Was it Aberdeen or somewhere like that?
Aberdeen.
He was actually in the Aston social, getting ready to pack up and go home. At that stage, I just overheard him talking to somebody about it.
Talking to me.
Was it you? Was it?
He was talking to me. Yeah. He was telling. I was trying to get as much information out of him as I could about how all these things come together. But
it must have been you, yeah.
all of this stuff, including the flags or the pieces of paper that are on your seat for tifos, are all done in Aberdeen. And the last couple of European games now we've been there. I've met those guys because I've stayed in the Aston Inn, and it's obviously the best place for them to stay. So they get everything done and over the couple of days before the game, and then they head off up there. But it was a lovely insight to how the whole thing works. But hats off to that one. It was absolutely excellent. The little bits of detail around the edge as well. Yeah,
and I love the t-shirts
and the buildings. Yeah, I'll probably have to buy a t-shirt, I'd imagine. Yeah.
Well, I've just been reliably informed by Mark that the t-shirts are sold out in the Villa store, but Ozzy Osbourne official merch has him up on his site as well, so
all right,
you can go and buy them there. Yeah, so you can go and buy them there, which is great. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I'm looking forward. This was going to be like, there's going to be no real Wolves preview. Might do a small bit tomorrow as well as a transfer one. I got to roll out tomorrow at 1:00 to go on my stag, so I won't be on over the weekend. So you'll have Paddy for the team sheet tantrum, and you have Paddy for the post match. I don't even know will I get to watch the game at the weekend, because Ireland are playing a rugby match, and every single pub in Ireland will be showing that rugby match, and I won't have my extremely legal methods of watching the match that I would normally have. Plus, I'm going to be absolutely stocious as well, so there is that too. And I think I'll probably be dressed up as Jerry Halliwell or something like that for the weekend. I don't know. So don't worry, I will share pictures. I'm not very shameful type of guy. I don't get, the only time I really feel shame or embarrassed is if I get really drunk on a podcast and I don't know when to hit the end button like I did last Saturday. But don't worry, I'll share photographs of me and my in whatever they decide to dress me up as anyway, on Twitter, so you guys can have a good laugh as well. But yeah, Paddy will look after what he can look after over the weekend. I'll do a couple of podcasts tomorrow around the transfers, and we'll get back and we'll hit it hard then on Monday before our transfer deadline day, and then it's up to whoever we have in that's going to be playing in claret and blue for the rest of the season then to bring us to the promised land, and go away and win the Champions League first then after that. I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Neil, have a great weekend on your stag.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the two things happen together, so I won't be with you on Friday and Saturday. I might get a few hours with you on Sunday at the tail end. I only imagine what kind of a state you're going to be in. But for those who don't know, it's a bank holiday here in Ireland, so we might get back on at some stage during the day on Monday. But Sunday could be written off as well.
This will tell you how much I want to prepare myself. I've bought 60 sachets of Diorolite. So
I can't imagine 60 sachets would be very good for you, but anyway, there you go.
No, I'm not going to use them all. Well, it does say in the back you can use up to 14 a day. So yeah, but important to keep the electrolytes in when you're on a heavy day. So I'll definitely be doing that. Yeah. Yeah, I do keep on hydrating. But yeah, I'll hopefully I'll live to tell the tale. Because if I don't, well then, Paddy, you have to take the if I end up dying on my stag, you're going to have to take the podcast on to newer heights, Paddy. It's okay. You can move on quickly. If you need to find somebody else to join you, you can move on quickly. I'm okay. You don't have to love me forever. It's fine.
Yeah, you better give me all the logins and everything before you go. So
yeah, it's I love Unai 2023. That's what all my logins are, and that's actually not what it is. But just in case anyone tries to start hacking my account. Right, we're going to go, guys. I said to Paddy we'd take about 15 minutes in this. We've had 40 minutes. Again, I want to thank everybody who we spoke to and had some good words for us, and really appreciate that. And it shows great community and great fraternity and sorority that we have around the podcast here, and that blows my mind every time. So thank you so much to everybody for that. And hopefully we go and get the result on Wolves and we start to kick ourselves up the table, and get into those European places now that we have a full month to concentrate on the league and are obviously in the great position of being able to look on at European games, knowing that we're awaiting our next opponents, which we will find out tomorrow at 11. Actually, Joe, what? I'll coincide coming on tomorrow live at 11 so that we can do the draw. And then we'll talk a small bit about transfers and we'll do a small bit of a preview, and then the podcast is all yours for the rest of the weekend. Then I can go in my stag. Exactly. Right, so guys, we're going to leave it at that. Thanks a million to everybody for watching as always. As people are saying there, like, subscribe, follow, whatever you need to do. Tell somebody that you think might like the podcast about the podcast and see if they like it. If they do, we'd love to have them forever. If they don't, still get them to hit on the subscribe button anyway, get the algorithm, kick it into overdrive. But thanks a million for everybody for what you do. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.